Hi there, this is Andreas, guitar player and singer from the band Craneium.
And you, well, I play drums in Craneium.
Let's get right to it. We're really happy that we get to be on this interview for Antichrist Megaside. Let's just start hitting the questions. The first one is, hi, please introduce Craneium to our subscribers. You well?
Yeah, we're Craneium from Turku, Finland. We play heavy psychedelic rock music, I think. Maybe with a hint of progressive rock these days.
Yeah, and I think we do this with kind of a, I don't know, we've been called pop stoners sometimes. Melody and hooks is what we're aiming for within the concept of stoner and heavy riffs and stuff like that.
Yeah. We've been around since 2011 and we've released 4 albums now. This is our latest release, Point of No Return. And it's out on Design Records, and we have released one previous album on Design Records, and before that we worked together with Ripple Music in California.
Yeah. What is the meaning behind the band name? I think it was one of the first time we were out hanging together. It was winter here in Turku in Finland, and we went out on like a hiking trip just for over the day. Had grilled some sausages in the woods and just enjoyed the Finnish winter landscape. And I think it was me who suggested Craneium, and I think I came up with it because we wanted a name that hints kind of the musical style or direction. As you know, Craneium, it's spelled differently than cranium, but a crane is a bird. A crane is also a big construction, like a bulldozer or a crane or like something that puts together like something soft and something heavy, like a bird and a construction machine. So Craneium, I think I came up with it, and we just went with it. So, yeah.
Yep, years ago.
It really doesn't have any higher meaning. We just thought it sounded cool, and it stuck with us.
We were all kind of suckers for the Beatles, so we really liked the misspelling of the word as well.
Yeah, and I think bands like Dozer may have played a role in coming up with the name. We love all those Swedish bands.
Can you tell us a little bit about Point of No Return? Yeah, that's our latest album, out on Design Records. 6 songs.
Yep.
We recorded it back in the fall of 2022.
Yep.
We've been writing it ever since we released our previous album, Unknown Heights, in 2021.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We went to Sweden, to Finspång, to record it with Joona Hassinen, who recorded our previous album as well, Unknown Heights. And we just felt like he's a great guy to work with, and his new studio in Sweden was getting done, up and running, ready to take on some bands. So we went there in October of 2022, and we recorded some songs there. And yeah, I think the new record is probably our favorite this far. That's what every band says, right?
Hopefully every new record is the best one so far. Otherwise, you could just quit. But we're really happy with the way it turned out. It's a step. I think it's a step, maybe a bit away from the traditional stoner rock. But at the same time, I really feel like if you can't do new things within the concept of stoner rock, then stoner rock will become very boring, because we've all heard those Black Sabbath riffs a million times. So, but we take influence from a lot of different things. So as much as we take inspiration from Black Sabbath, we also take it from Pink Floyd, and I think we've really started to be like secure enough to do really light stuff as well, and to do really I think some of our like lightest stuff is on this new album, as well as some of the heavier stuff we've ever done.
Mm. And we really like to play with the, like we've probably written in a few bios that the ebb and flow of the music, we feel like you can't be heavy all the time if you can't be light as well. The music has to breathe and it has to do other things than just droning on one Black Sabbath riff. For me personally, I think that would get too boring, and there are a lot of bands that does that, and they do it so much better than we ever could. So why embrace that only? I feel like we want to, like you all said, open up more and explore as many influences as we can under this moniker of stoner or psych or heavy fuss rock or whatever you'd like to call it.
Yeah, can you talk about the lyrics on this release? I didn't write any lyrics for this release. I think we all talked a lot about the concept, though. Even though we're not really doing concept albums, we really enjoy, or over the last few years, we really liked the idea of having a theme for the albums. And this time, I think the theme kind of headed in a direction of maybe like climate change and how the planet is doomed, and that turned into maybe some spacier stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. I wrote some of the lyrics. Well, me and Martin, the other guitar player in Craneium, usually are the ones who write most of the lyrics. But I feel like my own strength lies in taking a concept and like you have an idea or you have a few lines of lyrics and just like evolving it into the song. And I really feel like Martin is the one who's the big thinker. So he has a lot of good ideas that we then wrap together into songs and lyrical themes. And I think he wrote a lot about like climate change and what people are doing to each other in these times, and it kind of evolved into a record that explores the unnecessary and maybe stupid behavior that humans do.
Yeah, and maybe some kind of question that what are we doing? Do we even know what we are doing? And yeah, quite gloom. This one turned out maybe a bit more gloomy. Our previous album was called Unknown Heights, and that was maybe more about enlightenment and finding new ways for humanity and finding new ways to view the world. And this is maybe a bit more gloomy, but I think that reflects maybe the times.
Yeah.
Cover art for the album. Yeah.
Well, we wanted something to go along with the lyrical theme of the record. Well, now you can see the whole backdrop here, but it has a melting sun, which you'll also find on the record's cover, which we thought was really fitting for this album. So there's a melting sun, and then behind it you can see Earth way back there in space, and feels like it kind of wraps up the lyrical theme with the cover art as well. And we wanted someone who could capture that, and we found Jamie Suverza. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but he's really great, and he was able to do it for us, and we're really happy with it. Hence the backdrop.
Yeah, and the way it turned out was kind of funny because there's this old like 60s, 70s. Is it even early
50s maybe?
50s maybe, like artwork from Finland from a really well-known
soda brand.
Yeah, a big soda, like a big soda in Finland, is has this kind of a sun orange melting thing, on it that is really a really like popular design in
Yeah.
Finland. So it turned out kind of like that, and we think it's really beautiful. And now we've done T-shirts with it and everything. So yeah, check it out. Can you share insights into your cooperation with Design Records?
Well, we've been working with them for 2 years now, and we just released our second album on Design Records, and we felt like they were a good fit with our music because, well, we of course we're from the Nordic countries, and Craneium's members are Swedish speaking. We belong to a small minority of Swedish speakers here in Finland. So quite naturally we've grown up with Swedish culture as well. So for me it feels like I've always looked up to the Swedish scene and the Swedish bands. And when we started out like 10 years ago, we talked about, wow, it would be so cool to be on this label because they got every Swedish band that we love. like and
Yeah, it felt like a really like a stamp of approval that they
Yeah.
wanted to do this with us, and we've released 2 records there now, and yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. And then we have, can you...
What do you do for your livelihood?
Yeah, livelihood outside of music. Well, I'm a music teacher and guitar teacher, so it's really music all day, every day for on my part. But it's great working with kids and getting to inspire them to pick up an instrument or find out more about music and get them playing. It's not necessarily the getting good at it right away part, but learning them to embrace what it is to play in a band and do stuff together. I feel like that's the more important part that you maybe don't learn at a, I don't know what they're called, but you know, when you study music fancifully. My thing is more learning about band stuff and how to put a group together and just playing and getting along and learning music and then taking it from there and learning to work together.
Really practical, like learning,
Yeah.
learning by doing. I'm a youth worker, so I work like so. Not a social worker, but I work at youth clubs with youngsters. When did you first discover your interest in metal music? Well, I don't know if I've ever really been into metal. I've always always been more drawn to the like more rock side of things. I don't know, like classic rock, maybe new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
Was my gateway drug. Like how I started. I remember my brother bringing home some Iron Maiden records and listening to or watching Iron Maiden DVDs. I think was when I really got interested.
Yeah. I think I started maybe with skate punk, which quite fast evolved into finding out about bands like Iron Maiden and Metallica and all the classics. But the more I got into metal for a long while, like 15 to 18, 19, and then maybe I took the same turn. I started going backwards instead, and nowadays I feel like the more rockier side of music is my thing. I don't really listen to that much metal anymore, and I feel like I'm more home in the 60s and 70s stuff. So metal was maybe a good gateway into finding out about rock music and then later on, especially older rock music. And I'm still finding out about great 60s or 70s band that are overlooked or maybe not just as popular or whatever. But yeah, of course, metal is where we all come from, I think. But it maybe didn't stay with us quite as long as for others. And I think also that that shows in our music that metal is not maybe our
Biggest influence.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, at the same time, I think we're pretty conservative about our music taste or
Mhm.
what we uh, maybe things that others would consider metal. Maybe people consider us metal,
Yeah.
and we people can interpret it as whatever they want. But to us, we're just playing heavy rock music,
Yeah.
and and listening to a lot of that. Of course, I listen to metal as well, but not maybe mainly. Uh, what obstacles have you faced as a musician, and how did you overcome them?
I don't know. Maybe, depends on what you mean. I mean, there are always playing in a band is literally like a field of obstacles that you have to overcome, and there are new obstacles every day. The course changes, but
And that's kind of what I really enjoy about Cranium, or what I'm most proud of with this band is that we always overcome obstacles. We've been living in 3 different countries as a band, and we have been yeah, we're just powering through, never giving up. Kind of like I feel like Motorhead some days, like that, just too stupid to give up. Never really doing anything big, but still just keep doing it because you love what you do.
yeah. And I mean, we do it because it feels good doing, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean world domination. Because let's face it, that's never gonna happen with for bands in this genre probably. So for us, it's the everyday things that are obstacles. But I mean, we haven't faced anything so big that we couldn't um, overcome it yet.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a specific non-metal genre or artist that you'd love to collaborate with? Oh, good question.
Yeah.
We did collaborate for the first time now when we released this new album. We did some shows together with a like a keyboard player or synthesizer nerd. That was really fun, and something else that we hadn't done before. I don't know. Could be cool to do acoustic stuff with someone who's really.
And I'm really into to old blues and even some country music and stuff like that. So I love doing acoustic stuff as well, and it could be kind of cool to have a more acoustic approach to a song or two, and maybe record them as acoustic versions, I think. But and then I mean, like, heavy music fits really well with heavy synthesizers as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be just drum and bass and a synthesizer. The drum and bass can be real instruments, and they can be hooked through fuzz pedals, and then you have a heavy synthesizer going on in the background with yeah. So I mean, I think heavy stoner or heavy psych or heavy rock can be coupled up with whatever. Like, but I would go maybe electronic or something more
Yeah.
acoustic. That could be cool.
How do you perceive the evolution of metal music over the years?
We think it's doing fine. If we think about if with metal music, if we take it as a broader perspective and talking about all heavy music, then in our genre, I think it's doing really good, and the evolution has been great. If we think about bands that has evolved during this time since we started as well. I mean, a lot of them are still going strong. Some maybe don't exist anymore. But it feels like our scene, at least, and if we think about the evolution there, it has been really good. And I think more and more people are also finding out about this kind of music, and there are new people getting into it every day. So it's I hope, and I think it's growing.
Yeah, and yeah, we've had the pleasure of playing with great bands ever since we've started out, and this is of course we're talking about like underground small bands, and I think that's kind of the not a problem, but like the important thing would be to if metal music is gonna keep evolving, then we need to kind of maybe not forget about, but not maybe pay as much attention to the old dinosaurs playing the giant festivals every year. I don't find I at least me personally I don't find that very interesting. Like a great concert for me is in a small club with or like a few hundred people watching a great live show. The ginormous events feels like just like
Nostalgia.
yeah, nostalgia and consumerism and trying to sell like more tickets of those. Say yeah, I don't know, but in the small community that we find ourselves in, the evolution of metal music is going just great. There's a lot of bands, great albums released all the time.
Rapid fire section, just for fun. Joel, guitar shredding or drum blast beats?
Since I'm the drummer, maybe blast beats then, but like in a subtle way. There are great bands doing that.
I think I rather listen to drum blast beats. I'm kind of sick and tired of guitar shredding, the guitar shredding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memorable concert you've attended?
I think personally my favorite concert ever must have been Helicopters back in 2008. Yeah, in Tampere here in Finland, their farewell tour. It's one of my favorite bands, and I still hold it as the best concert I've ever been to, and maybe Motorhead like a year before that. And then, of course, playing together with a lot of our own personal favorite bands, which we are able to do shows with. So maybe like seeing Skräcködlan or Spiral Skies or Ordos or I don't know, all of those great bands we played with. It's always a pleasure seeing them in concert as well.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like a small, a great a great night when we played with some of our favorite bands. Maybe Lowrider at Festival in Stockholm when we got to play there. When they played their first show since releasing the new album they released like 20 years after the previous one.
Greatest music album of all time. It's hard to say, but for me it would probably be something by Pink Floyd or the Beatles. I always say that the Beatles isn't my favorite band, but it's the world's greatest band.
Mine would be I'm gonna cheat and pick Made in Japan by Deep Purple, even though it's a live album and that's like they're playing the hits from their previous few albums.
Yeah.
But it's still the best sounding Deep Purple version ever made, and yeah, that's my favorite album of all time.
Yep, 12 a.m. studio session or 6 a.m. rehearsal. I think we've done both, and I don't really have a preference. It's always nice to be in the studio, but it's also nice to be able to rehearse and feel like you can confidently play your songs.
Is AM or PM morning or night?
Is it morning?
So 12 in the morning or 6 in the morning rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've done that as well. Maybe yeah, since we've been living in different countries and we've learned to adapt. When there's time to rehearse, then we rehearse. So it's not like it has to be at night. I prefer rehearsals to studio sessions if I can choose. It feels more relaxed. Favorite non-rock metal song?
Maybe something by Towns Van Sant. I've been listening to him a lot lately. Rex's Blues is probably one of the most beautiful songs ever written. The Live in Texas version from '74, maybe. Check it out if you don't know him.
Oh shit, I don't know anything. Maybe some, maybe like a good, uh, good early '90s rap. Uh, maybe uh, so maybe some Wu-Tang Clan or something. I don't know. Or then I just listen a lot to like singer-songwriter stuff as well. Maybe some Swedish Lars Winnerbäck or something. I don't know. Hard question. What's the future plans for Craneium?
Well, we just released a new album, Point of No Return, and right now we're gonna play live shows, and we're trying to uh, get some stuff booked in Europe for this summer. So hopefully we will see some of you there, and otherwise it's just going forward and playing more. Right now it's all about playing live and meeting new people and getting a show booked somewhere near you.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot this spring, and we are going to play a lot more this spring around the Nordic countries. I think we at least have been talking a little bit about starting to maybe look at something new soon. But right now it's kind of hectical. We don't really. It's hard finding the time to sit down and jam new stuff. But I'm really looking forward to that as well. Starting to write new music, and yeah, that's how it goes. You release a new album and then you're already on your toes to do the next one and to do it better than last time. But this time I think we did the whole release thing really great. We have a whole spring booked with shows, and we have the new album, and we get out and play our new music and present it the way it should be presented. But there's still some tweaking there. We can do it better next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks for having us. And hopefully we'll see you out there at some gigs.
Yeah.
And check out the new record. Point of No Return from Craneium.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.